Welcome to the Fibro Me Fabulous podcast, where we discuss all things fibromyalgia. Done by not a complete idiot, but some parts are missing or just not working properly. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fibro Me Fabulous podcast. Normally I have a vague idea of what I want to talk about, but today I don't. I just draw a blank, so I thought I will just start talking and we will see where we end today. I am having a couple of days off. I cashed in the last of my vacation days for the year before I have a couple of mandatory vacation days between Christmas and New Year's Eve, or as we call it in the Netherlands, Old Year's Eve. I've been out of my routine and things are a bit different than I do them normally. So I also normally record my podcast on Monday and now it's Tuesday. So, shit happens sometimes. So I will just start with what I was doing today. I think it was last week, let me check. So last week I received an invitation to do a tour for a specific showcase for the museum here in my town. And it's about women's art and it's about LGBT art. And the show is called I Hit You With a Flower, which is pretty funny. And, in the past, when I was little, I was always a bit of a wallflower. I didn't like to be in the center of attention. When you're in the classroom and they're all gonna sing happy birthday to you, was the worst thing that could happen to me. I didn't want that at all. I just didn't like the attention. It was overwhelming. Usually when I was in the center of attention, most of the time it was bad attention. I was bullied and all that stuff. So there were always kids making fun of me during or afterwards. So that causes a little bit of trauma. If you've been bullied, it can be pretty heavy. It's also one of the reasons I was suicidal as a kid, because I wasn't accepted by my peers. My parents didn't understand me because I was neurodivergent. We didn't know that at the time. So I was not understood, not seen, made fun of, physically abused by my classmates, they called me names, they would laugh at me, they would wake me up after school and block the way so I couldn't go home, all that kind of shit. So pretty heavy, right? It was not only mentally but also physically. I was bullied very, very much, and this went on for years. So I never liked to be in the center of attention. I needed to do a lot of healing before I put my face on social media, doing this podcast, and now doing a tour in a museum, which means public speaking for me in my teenage years and my young years before teenage. Well, it was the worst. I didn't want that, and it still does trigger me. And how do I know that? Because when I got the invitation, my first reaction was a hard no. In my head, I didn't say no, right? But the first reaction, like I read that question, a friend of mine sent me a message with the question, and my first reaction was, hell no. And I'm like, that's a strong reaction. What's going on there? So I unpacked that, and it was like, it turned out that my ego didn't like to be humiliated again. And the thing about life, if you don't step outside of your comfort zone, you never get humiliated, but you're also not going places. If you don't try new things, if you don't change things about your life, the life you have now will stay the same forever. And if you want that, be my guest. But I didn't want that. And I still don't want that. I want to grow. I want to speak on stages, help people change their mindset around chronic pain and fibromyalgia. And how am I going to do that if I don't even want to speak in front of maybe 15 people doing a tour in a museum, right? So I thought about it, and I thought, maybe it's not really my thing, but let's have a look. So today I had that meeting, getting to know the people a little bit, and They really made me enthusiastic for it, and I left with a good feeling. Afterwards, they even gave me free entrance to the museum to see the showcase that is up there. We do get official tour with a tour guide, right? I'm not gonna do this alone. There is gonna be a museum tour guide, a museum teacher with us that is responsible for taking the group along and giving some extra information about the art pieces and all that shit, right? So that just leaves me to do my story and choose a few paintings or artwork that I feel strongly about and basically tell my conversation. For those that don't know, I am LGBT plus, or LGBTQ plus, I think it is. I always forget. I'm very new to this. Not new to LGBT, because I knew about that a long time, of course. But I came out of the closet like a year ago. So not that long. I am bisexual. I didn't know that for a long time. I hid that. I masked it. It was in my unconscious. And I also think one of the reasons that got me sick, because I was not living my own truth. I wasn't being who I am. I hid a part of myself, even from myself, believe it or not. And if you're bisexual, that's a little bit easier, because you're both attracted to men and women. And then it's easier to act straight. Yeah, and there are different reasons for it that I won't go into now, because this is not an LGBT podcast, right? But I can do that. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. Of course, I will do an extra episode about that. But for many reasons, I found it out, and I officially came out to my friends. And online I've posted that I walked in brides and stuff, who I haven't told the rest of my family. I told my sister. She was the first person I came out to. I had a lot of talks about her when I was exploring that in my mind. And she was the first one I came out to, and then I made some really good friends. I came out to them, but I'm a bit scared to come out to my parents, because I'm basically afraid they won't accept me, and they say they are accepting, but I'm not so sure. We will see. I'm planning a come out when I'm celebrating my birthday, so that's gonna be a thing. Let's hope they don't fight the podcast before this time. Anyhow, the museum thing about women's art, about art that is very colorful, very light in pastel colors, basically art that people say that's not art. So it's a woman-themed, LGBT-themed art show. And I might be a tour guide for that. So yeah, that's equally terrifying and exciting at the same time. And if you asked me a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have found me dead doing that, right? So that also shows that I've grown a lot, and I don't let my triggers hold me back. Your triggers are your teachers. If you're ever noticing, like, hey, I'm reacting very strongly to this subject or to this question or to what somebody is saying, and I don't even know why exactly, because I shouldn't have this strong reaction or something like that. If you just notice that something is off about your own reaction, or people telling you something is off about your reaction, like you're overreacting, for example, look inside yourself and why are you reacting that strongly? It doesn't say that you are overreacting, right? It might be a very legitimate reaction because there is some bit of trauma there. But look inside yourself, right? Like I said in the last episode, we always try to find outside solution to fix everything, and putting myself out there itself didn't give me confidence. I had to make the confidence inside to start doing it, right? Just to give myself enough confidence, like, what the fuck, why are you so worried about what other people think of you? If you are your authentic self, yeah, there will be people out there that won't like you, And that's a good thing, because that means that you are yourself. If everybody likes you, something is not going right. You're lying there to yourself or to somebody else. If a lot of people like you, if everybody likes you, something is going on. And if you get people that are having strong reactions to you, that's a good thing. That means that you are yourself. And I always like this sentence. And this is the sentence, like, it's anti-people pleasing, right? I'd rather be hated for the person I am than loved for the person I am not. And if you are afraid that people don't like you, or if people will hate you, ask yourself why. Why is their approval so important to you? Why don't you approve of you? And then fuck what everybody else is thinking. Because if you are your authentic self, if you are the person you are meant to be, you will attract the people that are meant for you. It's the same with finding a romantic relationship, right? I've been single for a couple of years now. Since I ended my last relationship, I haven't been looking for someone. I haven't been dating, nothing. Because I'm just working on myself for now. And I'm like, I don't want to desperately search anymore for anyone just because I'm lonely. And don't get me wrong, I'm not lonely anymore. But that's also an inside job, right? But I don't want to put my happiness outside myself anymore. I want to be happy by myself. I want to be fine by myself. Because if you have that, nobody can take that away. People can come into your life, they can fuck things up in your life, but nobody can take away your core identity if you stick to that. If you're strong in yourself, if you have confidence, if you have love for yourself, people are less likely to be taken advantage of, right? You are less likely to take an advantage of. Because you will see through that. You will have boundaries, you will have standards. And yes, that will make you a little bit harder to please for the people that don't belong with you. So if someone was telling you, you've changed, you have high standards, yeah, for that person, not for you. And there's a difference between that narcissistic arrogance and just confidence, right? I'm willing to give everybody a chance, and I'm talking to everybody. And some people, I just decide, you are not worth it. Bye. That's just how it is. And yeah, that will make people hate you. But you know what? The right people will love you for it. And that's what we want. So yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone, heal yourself from the inside out, and doing things that you never thought you would be doing. That's a great achievement, right? Like, if you look at your little child, how would they look at you now? Would they be disappointed, or would they be proud of you? Think about that. So, I want to leave you with this for today. And thank you for the people that are reaching out to me personally. I appreciate that very much. You're giving me things to think about. You are the reason that I'm doing this. So if you're listening, please leave a review. Give me 5 stars on wherever you are. A like on YouTube. Help me spread this information to more people. Because people are reaching out to me. People need this podcast. Right? You need this podcast. And that's the reason why you're listening. That's the reason why you're coming back. And it might help someone you don't even know. Right? When I started this, I thought, I don't know if I will help anyone with this. But the positive reactions that I get back, are amazing. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for listening to this. And let's get this podcast on the road. Let's get this out to more people. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or send me a direct message on Instagram. Ask me anything. I will respond to you. Depending on the question, I will answer it. And if you have any ideas for these podcasts, any subjects you want me to cover, if you want to be on my podcast, let me know, because I would gladly have you. I love you, I appreciate you, and I see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.